Spider-Man versus Venom, who would win in a fight? Well, the answer depends on whether we're talking about their comic book alter egos, Peter Parker and Eddie Brock, or their superhero baby versions. Wait, what? Did someone say baby? Yeah, this may sound weird, but it's not as out there as it seems. Just ask anyone who saw Spider-Man No Way Home. But now we have to ask, what if Spider-Man and Venom both became babies all of a sudden? How would they look? What powers would they have? And most importantly, how much chaos could they cause? Let's start with baby Spider-Man. Peter Parker got his powers after being bitten by a radioactive spider, so technically, as a regular baby, he wouldn't have any abilities yet. But if he were magically turned into a baby while keeping his powers, things would get wild. Imagine a crawling infant who can climb the walls, swing around on tiny webs, and accidentally stick himself to the ceiling during nap time. A baby with spider sense would be dodging rattles and bottles like it's a full-blown battle. Now, you might think turning into a baby would make Spider-Man weaker, but that's not necessarily true. After all, babies are strong enough to lift themselves up and walk after just a few months. They're also naturally very flexible, which would help him in a fight. Plus, a baby's cries can be pretty loud, which could be enough to stun an opponent or maybe just make everyone wish the baby would shut up. But realistically, baby Spider-Man would probably be more of a handful than a powerhouse. He'd be too busy exploring his new and much smaller surroundings and discovering what his new little hands can do. And let's face it, it's hard to take a baby seriously, especially when he's wearing a diaper. So while baby Spider-Man may not be as strong as the real deal, he'd still be pretty formidable, mainly thanks to his cuteness. It's hard to imagine anyone wanting to hurt a baby, even if he is a superpowered menace. Now let's talk about baby Venom. Venom's powers come from the alien symbiote, which bonds to a host. So if that symbiote attached itself to a baby, you'd get a terrifying mix. A crying infant with super strength, wall-crawling, shape-shifting goo, and possibly even baby-sized fangs. That's basically a toddler horror movie. And unlike the Spider-Man symbiote, Venom is completely ruthless, or there's no telling what he'd do once he's attached to a baby. Maybe he'd turn the stroller into a weapon or use the changing table as a launching pad for attacks. The possibilities are really scary. Now, you might be wondering how Venom would even attack as a baby, since he doesn't have the same powers in his toddler form. Well, think about it. Venom is known for his shape-shifting abilities, but he's also incredibly strong. Even as a baby, this means he could easily crawl up your arm and then bite you with sharp baby teeth, all while oozing a black tar-like substance that quickly dissolves your clothes and burns your skin. This goo would also protect baby Venom from harm, making him nearly invincible to any conventional weapons. The only way to defeat baby Venom would be to somehow separate the symbiote from him, which would require some serious alien fighting skills. If you've ever tried to babysit a kid, you know how chaotic it can be. Now imagine the kid has superpowers and an evil alter ego. It'd be the worst job in the world. It'd be impossible to keep either of them entertained, safe, or contained. You'd have to be a certified professional, experienced in handling superpowered infants and possibly even fluent in symbiote. Good luck finding that kind of person. To be honest though, we shouldn't even consider putting these two in the same room together. Spider-Man would be an instant threat to Venom, and Venom would find baby Spider-Man irresistible as a new host. It'd be like a deadly game of tag with superpowered babies and no adults allowed. Not exactly a fun scenario. So who would win in a fight between baby Spider-Man and baby Venom? Honestly, it's too close to call. Babies are unpredictable enough as it is. Add superpowered alien symbiotes into the mix and anything can happen. It'd be like watching two toddlers duke it out in a playground, except with more webs, goo, and destruction. And who knows, maybe one of them would end up taking a nap in the middle of the fight. That's what makes being a parent so exciting. Never a dull moment. So there you have it. If Spider-Man and Venom had a baby, they'd be pretty powerful, messy, and maybe a little terrifying. But hey, that's what makes them so fascinating to think about. So what do you think? Which other superhero should be turned into babies? Comment below.